a stark contrast to his deceased father's celebrated valiant whiteness, which I discuss in Chapter 2. Shakespeare creates distance between those white people who conform to social expectations and norms and those who do not. In other words, there are white people who register as more legitimate than others, a matter Patricia Akimi addresses in her article, Fair Bianca and Brown Kate, Shakespeare and the Mixed-Race Family in Jose Esquer's The Taming of the Shrew. Those people who conform or act as exemplars of hegemonic whiteness are tolerated and even revered, whereas those who do not conform are shunned, killed, critiqued, expelled, or marginalized. Although quite different than a fictional black figure like Aaron from Titus Andronicus, the white other, who occupies a liminal space between black and white, helps sustain the racial hierarchy because their whiteness does not conform to the ideal. Furthermore, the white other's role alleviates the need for a significant inclusion of black characters in Shakespeare's canon, since these racially white figures are strategically designed to embody blackness. Undeniably, whiteness is a dominating force, the dominating force in the racial hierarchy. By aiding the white superiority narrative, the white other enables racial whiteness to become more noticeable, particularly the positive symbolism of whiteness. I say that because Shakespeare offers correctives to the troubled moments where the dominant culture's standards of whiteness are not upheld. For example, the difference between Titus's fair-skinned, virtuous Roman Lavinia and fair-skinned, lascivious Goth Tamora, whom we might consider socially dead because of her barbaric, blackened identity, because of Tamora's sexual association with Aaron, a black Moor, her defeated enemy status, and her alien culture. Within Shakespearean drama, one can witness white privilege operating among groups of exclusively white people. Produced through a white supremacist orientation, such harder-to-detect operations of white privilege make the white other a powerful mechanism of white racial and racist construction. Occupying a space between whiteness and blackness, the white other's presence generates and solidifies anti-black sentiments. This figure is a literary and perhaps real force that transports ideas about white racial superiority and the metaphorical superiority of whiteness within a given play's framework. With respect to anti-blackness, othering whiteness also exposes what is wrong with promoting notions of colorblindness. Moreover, othering whiteness complements discourse suggesting that colorblindness is harmful in social, cultural, political, pedagogical, and theatrical practice, as Lisa M. Anderson, Anya Lumba, Ayanna Thompson, and other critics stress in Colorblind Shakespeare, New Perspectives on Race and Performance. Shakespeare repeatedly embeds figurative blackness in his white characters, or places blackness on their bodies somehow. Other characters then see this blackness and respond to it accordingly, negatively. They do not deny the presence of blackness because acknowledging it benefits whiteness. The acknowledgement of the white other's blackness, I posit, induces symptoms of ontological insecurity because these othered white characters destabilize white norms and generate racialized anxiety in the dominant culture. These moments of insecurity call attention to the privileging of whiteness as a dangerous trope. Moments of white privilege, or what Claudia Rankine has suggested we call white dominance, do not always register as such, since people are not conditioned to consider this phenomenon from an intraracial standpoint. Shakespeare's White Others asks you, dear listener, to do the hard anti-racist work. Regarding racial construction, the white other is generative from a critical standpoint because this figure's presence challenges the argument that race, as we understand it, is only a modern phenomenon denoting otherness or non-whiteness. Rather, as Ian Smith explains, race as a worldly thing not only denotes a complex of institutional, cultural, and intersubjective processes, but also the collective exchanges and deliberations, the dialogues and conversations pursuant to racial literacy, whether through reading, scholarship, conference deliberations, classroom learning, or theatrical performance that envision fully invested participation, mobilization, and change. By revealing tears in whiteness, and sometimes through white tears, the white other exposes the intricate workings of white solidarity and complicates white supremacist ideologies. This figure reminds us that even in premodernity, not all whiteness was acceptable whiteness, as the plays examined in this book illustrate. Additionally, tearing whiteness erases the need for focusing exclusively or predominantly on black characters to understand race or